Hey folks, Big T here from Big T's Hobbies, and today we're going to be talking about grills, specifically cleaning your grill. Now, when it comes to cleaning your grill, there's about 3 ways of doing it. You can either get one of the little wire brushes. The problem with the wire brushes is they tear up your grill so bad, and if it's not tearing up your grill, you have to worry about those little metal spokes coming off and getting into your food, and that's just something I do not like to have to worry about, especially if you have kids. The other option is to get one of the little scrubber brushes that look like something you'd wash your dishes with, just a little bit rougher, somewhere between a dish scrubber and SOS pad. Problem with these, they really don't last that long, and they can kind of tear up your grill, not as much as the wire brushes, but the fact that they don't last long, and if they get too wet, then they're just nasty as can be. So what's the third option? Your third option is a wooden grill cleaner. I know it sounds crazy, but trust me, these things are amazing. All you have to do is you rub these little grooves on your grill's grill, and it knocks all the food particles off. This thing's not going to splinter. It's not going to fall apart. If it gets wet, all you have to do, dry it off. It doesn't get nasty. I mean, you can clean this really easy. Just knock out the food particles if you get any on there. But, I tried this like 2 years ago and it just worked great. Problem is, a lot of them can get expensive or they don't look that great. Personally, I just wanted to make one, so I made one. Today, I'm going to show you how. Now, what you're going to need is you're probably going to need a 1x6, roughly a foot, 13 inches long. This is one of those great things where you get to customize it. The one I'm going to be making, the one that ends up being this little bad boy here, is a foot long. I just happened to have a spare laying around. I thought, yeah, why not? I'll turn that into a grill brush. So I did that. You're going to need this. You're going to need some kind of saw. There's no super fancy cuts. A jigsaw works perfect for this. A sander or sandpaper if you just want to do it the old-fashioned way. And if you have any sculpting tools, those work great. Otherwise, you can just use sandpaper. Maybe a knife to whittle it down. I added this just so I could hang the thing up. But other than that, there really isn't a whole lot to this one. So let's get to it. And when you're looking at your board, before you figure out which way you want to draw it, look for knots, like little scuff marks. Like over here, I've got a really big knot. That we do not want, going up against a grill, because chances are it'll knock out chunks of the grill. Or not chunks of the grill, chunks of the brush, and you don't want to do that. You want to, have as solid as a piece as you can get. So we're going to make our dents right here. So here's the piece of wood that we've got, and what you're going to want to do is try finding something that fits comfortably in your hand to give a little bit of a benchmark. For me, I grabbed the remote. This is kind of what I want to feel. This is what I want to feel whenever I'm, working the brush. Just put that down, try to get it right in the middle. If you really want, you can probably measure this out, but I'm feeling lazy. And then what you're going to want to do, just take your pencil, do that. And if you have something longer, by all means do it. This is the length I wanted. I should have tried to find something 13 inches long, but I didn't have it. So this is where you're going to try getting a little creative. For the bottom, I'm going to put just like a little flare down here. I'm going to put a little flare on this side. And if you want to work and make it look perfect, by all means, feel free. Now, for the end here, you're probably going to want roughly 4 inches of solid board. Then I'm just going to eyeball this. You can always measure it out perfectly if you want. As this is going to be the biggest part of the brush, I want to leave roughly 4 inches of just what's going to function as the brush. Measure down a couple more inches, say about right there. Do one of these numbers. Now you're going to have a basic outline of what you want your grill brush to look like. Wow, I messed that up. And this, of course, you can really customize it. If you want to go crazy, by all means, feel free. All I'm trying to do is come up with a basic brush. You're going to want your handle here, just a little flare down here so it doesn't fall out of your hand really easy. And then you're going to want roughly 4 inches of brush. This way you've got enough brush to where as time goes on, this thing will not fall apart. Now, once you've got that taken care of, this is where it'll be customized for your grill. Get one of your grill plates. If your grill plate doesn't come off, you can always take this out to the grill, but mine fortunately does. So what you're going to want to do, just kind of mark each of the grill marks. They're not grill marks, but the grates. And don't, line it up with the edge here. And then, this edge, don't worry so much about. Mark each of them off. And if you get too close to the edge, you might not want to make a grill cut or make a groove there. But, of course, it's all up to you. Now, once you have your marks where your grates are going to line up, you can either get you a wood carver, or if you want to really whittle this out, feel free. I just happen to find these wood carving tools at a thrift store, so I was able to get them fairly cheap. You can also just do this with a sander if you want. I just happen to have these, so this works out good. But wherever you can get to cut a groove in there, and you're going to want each groove to be roughly 1 inch long. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is your grill brush. Work with it the way you want. And make a couple groovies here on each of these lines, and what's going to happen is once you get it all done, this is going to fit perfectly on your grill. It'll probably work for other grills too, like if you happen to get another one, but this is one that you get to customize for your grill. Now we've got our basics, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this, I'm going to cut all of this out, I'm going to sand it down, and with the handle, you're going to want to probably carve it a little bit. Just, use your best judgment. This is, made for you, or if you're making it for somebody, see how big their hands are. If they've got, little tiny hands, make the handle a little bit smaller. If they've got, monsters like this, then, make the handle a little bit bigger. Once you get all that taken care of, you're going to want to sand it down, and we're going to see what happens next. So I've got it all cut out, sanded down. I went ahead and drilled a hole here, then that way I can attach a little handle later. And I'll get a close-up view of these grooves. This is the grooves I started out with. And what I did was I took my little sander, and if you push it in like this, and then push it in like this, you're going to get these nice smooth grooves to where it just feels nice to rub your fingers on there. And on the back end here, I went ahead and I sawed some of this off. I sawed a 45-degree angle, and that way you kind of get a more of a shovel-y look. And once you have all that done, make sure it fits nice in your hand. I happen to make this in, and this is going to be the down end, so make sure it fits nice in your hand. You're going to want to use this thing, and if it feels good, then you're going to be out there cleaning your grill more often, make it look really nice. All right, let's talk about finishing. Now, when it comes to finishing, a lot of times I'll use stain, but in a case like this, since I'm going to be working with food, something that food goes on, I'm going to pass on the stain. Do not paint this. Whatever you do, it's meant to look a little bit rough because you're going to be using it on a grill. You don't want it painted and looking, well, I guess you could paint this if you really wanted to, but me, I kind of like the more uniform look. So I'm going to go ahead and just use some boiled linseed oil and then just rub it in, try to get all the grooves. You know, you're going to have a lot of edges and, you know, a lot of spots to really get into. So you're going to want to make sure that you get everything because you want this to last for, you know, as long as it possibly can. So go a little crazy with the oil. Lube this bad boy up. And just keep working the oil until it has that nice uniform look that we all, you know and love. It should give it a nice little shine. Right there, you can see the difference between a nice shiny spot and a dull flat spot. It don't look too shabby. So I'm going to go ahead and take my little leather cord that I had left over from my axe making video. Run it through there. And, you know, depending on how good at knot you are, just make a knot. This is the only part right here, the little grooves, and maybe a little bit of this or the back might come in contact with your grill. So if you want to put like a logo here, or, you know, even on the handle, maybe wrap the handle in some kind of, you know, rope or whatever, just to give it that, you know, customize it however you want. Live wild, man. Live wild and crazy. And, you know, okay, now that your tool's all done, how do you use this thing? It's really simple. Take it to your grill. Right now, we're going to pretend that there's a lot of food particles on here. You got like a chunk cheeseburger over here. That's freaking piece of chicken that did not want to come up, and you tore half the thing up, and you're really mad because it, oh, sorry. What you're going to want to do is take this and then just run it along there, and it'll be, you know, it'll knock all the food particles off. This thing will last you a long, long time, unlike the, you know, like the little scrubbies that, you know, last maybe a season, then you're done. This thing will last you season after season after season, and it'll work great. I'll knock the food off, leave the seasoning on your grill, and it'll be great. Trust me. So now that you've got this all worked out and done, it's looking good, go ahead and clean your grill, make it look nice. Invite me over for dinner sometime. Maybe I'll join you. And, you know, I like my steak medium rare. So this is Big T saying be safe, have fun, and if you don't want to cook steak, I'll take chicken too.